Douglas, what are you doing? Come on, Douglas, what are you doing? All right, we're going to have a weekend update, and this is going to be the pre-op session weekend update. I haven't done these in a couple of weeks. I've been doing a lot of work in the house, refurbishing the other half of the basement. But I have an op session next Saturday, so let's talk about what's going to happen at op session and what I've done to prepare for it. So we have Augusta here, which is no trains in it, but it has cars waiting to either be picked up or set out. There will be a Alco switcher here that is the Augusta Road switcher that will be switching all of Augusta Industries. And we're kind of rolling around here. Boxcars there. It'll also do East Augusta, which has got the Statler tissue plant. It'll probably do that several times during the op session. The other things that the Augusta Road switcher will do is it will take to Hollowell, and that's Hollowell, so it'll drop and pick off in Hollowell. It'll go down through the end of that aisle, come back out at some point. It will do the Caboose-Conti branch here. I guess got to stow those two diesels there that are sitting off. Caboose-Conti I started work on, but I've kind of stopped on that until I get pretty much all work on the layout stopped until I get the rest of the downstairs basement area redone. I'm just want to get it done. So the bridge right here is down, but that'll be up during the op session because that connects this here over to Gardner here, and Gardner will be the other town that the Augusta Road switcher will switch. So Gardner, Hollowell, and the Caboose-Conti branch, that'll just be one job, but in Augusta itself there'll be a lot of work for that Augusta Road switcher. The Augusta Road switcher will be engine 961. There's the engine card, instructions for the Augusta yard operator and the Brunswick yard operator, which are not going to be used in this session. I use those for the 1970s era. The Augusta Road switcher basically will be in charge of Augusta yard and everything that happens there. The other switching job will be the Lewiston Lower switcher. That will be engine 953, and it will be handling all the industries here in Lewiston Lower. So you have the Bates Mill, you have several industries here on the track that's close to the edge of the layout. You have the Cedar Street Yard, you have LePage Bakery, you have Simpson Plastics, and that's the extent of what the Lewiston Lower switcher will handle. So basically, the Lewiston Lower switcher is going to have to put together the train, because there's a train that comes from Rigby to Lewiston Lower, and it'll drop off cars, pick cars up, and it'll work its way from Rigby to Lewiston Lower and back. So that's another position that'll be assigned next Saturday in the op session. Here we are inside the Helix. Now that is B12, which will be the first train that goes out, and it will traverse the whole layout from upper level to lower level. Now this train can originate in Waterville staging, but I've found over the last couple of years of operating that it's easier just to put it at the top of the Helix, because there's 8 laps here going up the Helix, and it's kind of tiring to go into the Helix and go all the way up from staging. So I put the train in here, so it's here. That's the front of the train. That's the caboose for the train. The Helix is 32 and 36 inches, or 34 and 36 inch radiuses on the inner and outer. And underneath that, also in the Helix, is WK2, which will be going to Brunswick from Waterville. So staging right here, the inner track comes out of Waterville staging, and that train will work through Augusta all the way down to Brunswick. It will not switch Hollowell, and it will not switch Gardner, but it will work Richmond. It'll do work in Brunswick. It will turn in Brunswick and come back up to the upper level and back into the helix here in the staging by the end of the session. So that's the two trains that are westbound. We also have the Rockland locals. There's two locals at this time in 1965. So this is the return of RN1, which is NR2, and it's basically going to be coming out of Rockland Station. It'll come through the junction there, and it's going to work Brunswick. It'll do any pickups in Brunswick Yard it needs, and any drop-offs for things that are going either up the line to Augusta, or it'll pick up if it has room in the train for things going to Rigby. And it'll work around here, work around the peninsula, nothing here, travel down the end of that aisle, come back out here to Yarmouth Junction. If it has anything to drop off at Yarmouth Junction, it'll do the drop off at Yarmouth Junction, and then it'll go through here, and it loops around underneath to Rigby Station. So that's that train. So here we're looking into basically the narrowest aisle in the whole layout, and what I have here is RA1, which is the Rigby to Lewiston Lower turn. So that train is sitting here in Rigby staging, and I will actually probably pull it all the way up to the top and be right at Yarmouth Junction rather than leaving it in staging here, because that will be the first train out at Rigby Station. And again, it's better just to have it up close to the operating section of the layout rather than down here in staging, because there's going to be a second train in staging here. So here we have the power for what is going to be RN3, which will be the train that runs from Rigby to Rockland, and it would normally turn at Rockland and then come back as NR4. So that's the second Rockland freight of the day. I've got the cars for that train are up on this track behind here, so I've got to pick out a group of cars that are going to be Rockland bound. Not all these cars will be on a train when it comes out of Rigby, but it will have this one car in the front, this Canadian Pacific Reefer. So this train is going to get that reefer up the Lewiston Lower branch to Elmet. And so it's an interesting quirk. The train will come out of Rigby Station, come here to Brunswick. It'll drop its train here in Brunswick, and then it'll take that reefer out to Elmet, which is just before you get to Simpson's Plastics on the Lewiston Lower branch. It'll drop that off. It's a protected movement for the meat trains that came in on Sunday night. So even though it's going to be a Saturday op session, we're going to be doing a Monday operating just to get this special movement in that was makes it a little bit more interesting for the operators of that train. So I have to select out about 10 cars out of here. The rest of these are going to stay on here, and then they will get picked up by the train as it goes down the Rockland branch. The remaining cars here are either going to Waterville, or they're working here, like this Reading car will be set out here in Brunswick. So that's all the trains that will run during the op session. I've got to take the time now to put together this train and get it down into the station there where you saw the Rigby to Lewiston Lower train. Once it's in there, I'll pull the Lewiston Lower train to the top of the loop around from Rigby Station and have it just before it goes into Yarmouth Junction to start off the session. And we are going to be doing 1965, and it'll be the first time we run this session. I won't do a dispatcher yet. I've got to figure out whether this is going to work and whether it'll be a reasonable amount of time. So one thing I have done since the last operating session, I have all the phone stations at all the different operating stations, and I have a dispatcher's phone over where I'm going to put the dispatcher's desk. I just haven't built the dispatcher's desk up yet. So that's it. That's the lineup of trains that are going to be run on next Saturday's op session. I will also do some video taping on Saturday to show the trains as they're running and operated by the crews. I don't intend on being an operator. I'll be there as the question and answer man as people take their trains around the layout. In between, I'll be photographing or videotaping. Anyway, I know it's been a while, but these are going to be less frequent until I get the other side of the basement done. As a matter of fact, I'll take you over there and show you what I'm working on. So the thing I have just about completed here is Rebecca's hobby room and work area. So this was basically a kitchen. I have taken it and drywalled the whole thing with new drywall, drywalled in the ceiling, added a light fixture in the ceiling, painted all the walls, put some vinyl flooring in. Put a sink in here with a coffee pot. There's a closet. Now this is her craft room, so this is all her craft supplies. And she's still not set up all the way, but this is getting there. She's got some more of these shelving units to put in here. And then she'll have a hobby room to be wanting for naught. And then she has her workstation there. So during the week, this is her office, and nights and weekends, this is her hobby room. So the other things I've been doing is this is the bathroom, so I started drywalling that in. What I needed to get done was this plumbing that's, oh, I'm going the wrong way there. This plumbing up here had to be rerouted. I'd torn it out originally because there was a bathtub. That board over there was basically covering the drain of the bathtub, so I'm trying to convert this to a wet bar area, which will be coming in as soon as I get done with the op session. That's my next big project. But the bathroom down here is going to be the same thing. I will take here, I will drywall in the ceiling. I've got to put the drywall in the back here. And then I'm going to take the toilet. I'm going to replace the toilet seal. I was mopping the floors down in the train room. That's why that bucket's sitting there. And